Let's go over why branding is so important, how to find your brand identity, and then lastly, I'm gonna walk you through creating an asset pack. So let's head over to my computer. All right, deciding your brand identity. Let's get into it. So when you're looking at this picture, you're probably thinking to yourself, I wonder where these French fries are from. There's no logo on the box, so it really could be from any company, right? Now, you know exactly where these French fries are from, and that's because the brand has been so ingrained into your head. You know their colors, you know the shapes of their packaging, etc. Take a look at this image here. There's no logo on the front of the car. How could you possibly know what car this is, right? Well, you know it's a Tesla because of the shape of it and because the handles don't poke out and they're this weird electric ones. I don't know. Next image. Who is this person, right? There's a big question mark over his face. How could you possibly guess who this is? You know, this person wearing a wife beater and a flannel and a hat. You can never guess in a million years who this is. Nope, you know who this is. You know it's Alex Hormozi because you become so accustomed to seeing him wearing a wife beater, a flannel, and his acquisition.com hat. Now, every time you see those designs, you're expecting something. When you see that box of McDonald's fries, you're expecting to reach your fingers in there and eat a really good fry. When you see the shape of a Tesla, you're expecting to get in and not hear any engine noise and have a smooth ride. When you see a wife beater, a flannel shirt, a hat, and a beard on your screen, you're expecting Alex Hormozi to drop some insane business knowledge. So what branding does is it helps build these expectations between you and your audience so that you can eventually come to trust them. You see, if the purpose of branding is to get people to trust you, then every time we make a post onto the internet, we need to make sure that we are easily recognizable. If someone watches our video and they like it and they learn something from it, and then later on, 2 months down the line, the algorithm shows them another video, we want to make sure that they remember who we are and who our brand was so that they start to trust you more and more after all the times they're seeing you. We probably all have heard of the marketing study where someone needs to see your face 7 times before they actually buy. Well, if that's the case, then we need to make sure that every time we put ourselves out on the internet, our branding is consistent so that each of those 7 times when people see us, they'll be able to recognize that it's actually us and it's the same exact brand. So with that out of the way, let's get into what we need to establish. So I think the 2 most important things that you need to figure out for your brand are the colors and the fonts. And that's because in your guys' video, we're gonna have a lot of captions on screen and we need to have the colors in those captions be consistent. But even if we don't have captions in your videos, it's good to use colors just for overall branding. Like earlier, the example with the McDonald's fry box, you knew it was a McDonald's box because it was their iconic red color. And then we would look for overlays, backgrounds if we're using a green screen, transitions, animations, SFX, logos, icons, and music. And I'm gonna show you right now where to get all that stuff and kind of how to piece it all together. So right here is an example of my branding guide. And then over here, I have my asset pack. This is in my master Google Drive. But let's go into our branding guide really quick. So we have stuff like our channels, our objectives, content pillars, which we're gonna get into in a second. But let's just start with like words that describe your brand. So for me, the words that describe Austin and Mackay Media is I'm a scrappy entrepreneur and I think outside the box. With that being said, let me show you some of my assets that reflect that. So since I am scrappy and I think outside the box, my background is gonna be a scrapbook style brown paper. And because I think outside the box, a lot of my green screen backgrounds are just cardboard boxes. Now you don't have to take it so literally in your branding guide, but I think it helps to write down words that describe you or your brand, and then you start to make those connections. And now more into design, I picked a random font that I liked, this Proxima Nova Extra Condensed Black. You can just look up a list of fonts online, scroll through these lists, just pick one out that you like. I like to use one that's sans serif. I think that's the correct term. Yeah, sans serif, basically where it doesn't have any of these like extra fancy things. It's just kind of boring or like classy. Not classy. It's just kind of like straight to the point. And then I have 4 colors. I have a darker color, a color for my caption strokes, a color for the inside of the captions, and then like a lighter color. What I recommend you do to find out your brand colors is just look up color palettes. So think of like your favorite color. Let's say like your brand logo is like a purple. I would just look up purple color palettes. Find something you like cool, this is a pretty cool one. yeah, just find a bunch that have like darks all the way to lights. You can even throw in some stuff like pastel, purple color palettes. And then also look at the color wheel. Look at the contrasting colors of your brand colors. Look at the ones that are right next to it, and then just try to come up with an idea of like 4 main colors you're going to use for just a darker color, a stroke color, a thumbnail or a caption color, and just a white color whenever it's needed. And then this right here is just my whole asset pack. So I have backgrounds, fonts, and text animations. So these are animations that my editors can plug into Premiere Pro and apply on the captions. We have green screen backgrounds, marketing material. This is just like logos and boring stuff. Overlays. I'll show you what that is in a second. And then like transitions with sound effects. So like I have a paper rip transition for my Instagram Reels, and then it has the sound effects like hooked onto that. But where I got all this stuff is I actually just recently found about this website. This isn't sponsored or anything, but it's called Motion Array. Okay, so using Motion Array, I'm actually going to build an asset pack from scratch with you guys. So let's start with backgrounds. So when I say backgrounds, let me give you an example of what I mean. So right here, you see how when we have like some motion graphics on the screen, we have this like crumpled paper going on in the background? So that's what I mean by getting background, is I just wanted to compile some images to put together in a loop. So I think on Motion Array here, I found like a bunch of images of just crumpled up paper, but you can go to maybe footage, right here, click on background, and you should be able to find some pretty cool stuff. If you don't find it on Motion Array, you can probably find some cool background just on like Google Images or other websites. But I would find just like a clean texture. And again, you don't need a background. Like if your backdrop of wherever you're filming at is pretty cool, you really don't have to worry about this. I'm just showing you the extent that I went to. So just randomly, we're gonna pick, let's pick like this as our background. So when we're showing up like motion graphic edits like that, like this here, we'll have this like TV noise, 80s colors. So we'll go into here, we'll literally just drag that into this backgrounds. Cool, and then that's our background assets. Now let's look for fonts and animations. Okay. Let's just go into sans serif fonts. Yeah, and then here's a bit. I know for Futura is pretty cool. So let's just do that one. Futura font download. I like to go to DaFont. There's some others. I just know this website's free. There we go, avoid the virus. Okay, boom. That's our font right there. And then animations. So let's just click on animation and see what shows up. I think we're still in like the footage category, so it's not gonna show us stuff. Yeah, no, we need to go to, we'll go to presets. And then you gotta select the platform that you're gonna be using to edit. Yeah, let's just find some transitions. Yeah, so look right here. This is a glitch text transition. There's, it'll show in a second, like that. So that can be a cool transition that we use like for the intros of the videos. So let's go ahead and download that. And let's drag that into fonts and animations. Okay, and also another thing I did on my asset packs is I created separate Google Docs talking about when to use these things. So like this Google Doc says, use when covering Austin's face to add motion graphics or write things on screen. Because a lot of the times what I do when I'm reading scripts sometimes and I'm just kind of out of it, I literally just look down at my screen and read the script. So when I'm doing that, obviously I don't want the editor to show my face. So I'll have this paper backdrop go over my face and then just have pop-ups come on the screen. So we can do that here for this test brand. So we can have backgrounds, a new Google Doc, name it when to use, when Austin is looking at his phone or whenever else you need to cover his face. Yeah, and then this is really good for editors. especially, just so that they know when to use this sort of stuff. Fonts and animations. Okay, so we'll create a new doc called when to use. When to use, and then we'll have it say use when, use in the beginning of videos for the intro text pop-up. Cool, so that's when we use that animation. All right, so now green screen backgrounds. Now the green screen background can be the same as the other background, but for the sake of it, I'm going to create a new one right now. So let's think of something cool. Let's go to footage again. Background. So since the other background I used was like this glitch kind of like TV staticky effect, I'm gonna look for something similar like this, if it wasn't as ugly. Like this, TV screen with black lines. Sure, let's just say we'll use this as a green screen background. So download that. Throw that into the test brand. Boom. Okay. Now overlays. This isn't completely necessary. I just have them because they're fun. Overlay. Come into here. Click overlay. Why is my computer being slow? Get rid of background. We'll see what pops up. Okay, so right here is a cool one, like a vintage film overlay. It's not loading right now. My computer's being pretty slow. But you see how it kind of like puts this little like vintage effect over. In my personal opinion, I see this get overused all the time by editors. So if I were you, I wouldn't actually copy this just because it's so prevalent on social media. But I'm just giving you guys an example. So put this vintage overlay in here. I forgot to add on the screen backgrounds, let me add the doc. Name it when to use. When to use. Use when Austin has a green screen behind him. And again, this might not be relevant to you. You might not be filming stuff with green screen. So if you're not doing that, ignore this part. Green screen background. Okay, overlay. Now, okay, we have this vintage film overlay. So we'll have our Google Doc. And then now, let's say, when do we use this? Use this when Austin is talking about stories from the past. Or, yeah, just when Austin's talking about stories. Think of it like a flashback montage. You know what I mean? In the movies, they do like those flashbacks and they like change the color of the screen and all that. So that's when I would want the editors to use this. So when to use, boom. And then now, lastly, is transitions with sound effects. So let's add that in here. Transitions with SFX. Cool. And now what I mean by this is, so for overlays, let me show you a little bit more. So you see how this image has like some dots all over it? So that is an overlay. This is just a stock footage or like stock stuff, you know, the Queen, Facebook, but we had that overlay just to keep everything on brand. So you can find a similar overlay like that too, that just adds texture to your images. I found that on everything in this video I found on Motion Array. So yeah, you can find it there. But the thing I was talking about, the transitions, like this here. Let me turn on the sound. I don't know if you're able to hear it. It might be, I don't have my computer audio on, but you'll hear it through this microphone. 3. First, you're gonna have your... So you saw how it transitioned like this, where it had this paper opening up. First, and then you can hear the rip sound. So originally it doesn't come with the rip sound, but I found the transition on Motion Array, and then I found audio of a paper being ripped. So what we do is we just add those two to the folder so that when the editor edits, they can just combine the two to make it more real. So let's look for transitions right now. We got to come to presets, Adobe After Effects, and then transitions. Cool. And now let's just look for some cool transition. So cyberpunk transitions. This is, since we have kind of this like techie thing going on, maybe this would be a good one. Okay, yeah, cool. I mean, it's not my favorite, but like, I'm just gonna download for the sake of it. So this kind of like cyberpunk-esque transition kind of would fit the theme that I'm going for this test brand. Let's just add it in here. And then now let's try to find like a glitch sound effect, you know, or like a TV, something that goes with that vibe. So we'll go to music. Oh, sound effects actually right here. And then futuristic. There we go. Now let's see if we can find something that fits with it. That's so annoying. I hate that. But maybe these are good. No. So far, this is the best one, but it's a little too drawn out. So either I download this and we could speed it up in the video, or I just find a better one right here. Yeah, these suck. That was way too overpowering. Okay, this is like something, still not my favorite, but maybe. I think we're just gonna go with this one now for the sake of it. But basically we would combine one of these little sound bites whenever we do a transition. So throw the glitch transitions into there, add a when to use. And I'm gonna be using this whole asset pack to show you guys how to edit a video later on. So I'm not just doing this to blow smoke. When to use. Use when using cyberpunk transition, combine it with the SFX, with any of the SFX. And then I'm going to make a note to possibly speed up the sound effects so it's less than 1 second. And we'll go into that more in the editing process. But yeah, that pretty much is most of the asset pack. What else do we need? Logos, icons, music. Again, you can find that stuff in here. But that is why branding is important, how to find your brand identity, and then lastly, how to kind of create an asset pack on Google Drive